Hey, cousins. You know what? No one really is discussing this. I'm kind of shocked. Well, no, I'm not. The public relations nightmare that has been WrestleMania 41. All of the interviews, everyone's really candid and saying how they feel. The Hall of Fame speeches, bigging up rapists and stuff like that. The roast of WrestleMania with a well-known bigot hosting, and the girls went down there and did what they had to do. But no one's talking about Paul Heyman and his behavior on Pat McAfee show. No one's talking about it. And I got an issue with that. This ain't gonna be too long. ESPN execs can't love what was being said on live down to the Pat McAfee show that took place April 21st, that Monday after WrestleMania. Wrestling legend Paul Heyman joined the show on Monday afternoon following WrestleMania on Sunday evening. Heyman, 59 years old, is going viral for comments he made while getting into it with a fan who was watching the show in the background. And I quote, "Who's the smart ass? You. The one that's gonna get deported. Hey amigo, I may suck, but it's your mother that taught me how." Heyman appeared to say live on show. Let's hear it, shall we? Okay, here it goes. Smart ass. You? The one that's gonna get deported? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Hey amigo. Gnats are hot. I may suck, but it's your mother that taught me how. Teach the leash. Bitch of an audience today. I cannot wait till you're back. Bitch of an audience today. First of all, if you go back and look at the man, Paul Heyman assumed that he was Latino. That's the first thing. Because it looked like a fat white dude with a thick beard. And to have that comment in the middle of what is going on politically in such a charged atmosphere really shows what the Paul Levesque era of WWE looks like. Why would that be funny? Why would that be considered funny at all? And then you call the audience a bunch of bitches because they didn't laugh at your bullshit. Paul Levesque did not say anything about this. ESPN is full of sexual deviants, so they're not going to say anything about it. But what I find funny is Paul Levesque, who is Jewish and claims that his family experienced the Holocaust, getting put and removed and put places where they didn't want to go, and you would sit there and have that type of discussion and that type of back and forth because somebody said you suck. That is kayfabe. You suck, Paul Heyman. Did you forget that you turned on the tribal chief and you turned on CM Punk? So the person in the audience is playing along, and your response is, let me tell them they're going to get deported. Even when WWE just bought AAA from Griselda Blanco, what are we doing here? This is the take that I'm tired of hearing. Anybody complaining about this would not survive the attitude era. Quit bitching. It's all a show. And the person that responded is perfect. I would have thought this was hilarious in 98. I was also 12. The age I would have been for this type of humor to work on me. The attitude era. Listen, it was, first of all, the fact that the shit that was going on in the attitude era was happening in the 90s is a fucking problem. Because some of that shit should have been happening in the 40s. Okay? It is 2025. Read the fucking room. All y'all keep going back to the attitude era. It's been 30 years. And you still talk about we want the attitude era. We want to hear the word fuck. Why can't we see some puppies? Grow the fuck up. It was unnecessary to crack that joke when the fan is in kayfabe with you. The best hot take for the attitude era was tasteless on a major level. It was created for edgelord teens, and societies are supposed to grow past certain things. You all are still stuck and stunted in some of the worst, unsavory,
just unethical behavior, and you want to make everyone feel some kind of way. It's weird. Y'all let everything slide because WWE. Oh, it's funny. It's just this and that third. It was unnecessary. And some of the people that's laughing too, a little too fucking hard for my taste. And instead of Pat McAfee on his show saying, hey man, you overdoing it. That's too much. That's too much. All he did was grab his head like, oh my God, what are the execs going to say? He is a weak ass punk. If you ask me, why would you allow that man to make that comment and not say anything? It's weird. That's why I don't fuck with Pat McAfee. If it was all of that, you should have corrected him. But you did not. You sat there and you let it happen. And then you got the guy, oh, well, you know, he's Jewish, guys. He can say that. Ain't nothing going to happen. Ain't nothing going to happen, guys. It's disgusting. I'm amazed that more of the wrestling community isn't talking about this. This is the type of shit I be talking about. I be trying to enjoy wrestling, and then they do bullshit like this. All WrestleMania PR was nothing but over magnified right-wing manospheres, disgusting talking points. It was bizarre. And it was the Paul Levesque era that opened the door to this type of bullshit. Don't tell me what Paul Heyman was doing in ECW. I don't give a fuck. That's why ECW was where it was when it was. It's not ECW no more. I don't need to know what he was telling the Dudley Boys and why Paul Heyman's allowed to talk the way he talks. Paul Heyman is been fat. His mouth looks like a blowed out pussy. He hasn't been enjoyable for the last 6 to 7 months. Enough is enough. Put his ass through a fucking table again. Let me guess. It's a work. It's a work, guys. Don't be so sensitive. It's all the work. No, that guy looked like he was visibly like, damn, why you gotta come at me like that? It was disgusting. Again, I'm just shocked that I don't see anybody really talking about this and why this was allowed to happen. There's no PR. There's no backtracking. There's no, figuring out what happened. Pat McAfee stood there and let that man say that wild shit, did not correct him. And it was just like, oh, well, that's Paul Heyman. Like, come on. We got to do better than this, people. Seriously, wrestling's supposed to be for everybody. Paul Levesque and his era has made wrestling more hostile than I remember in the last 10 years. These last 2-3 years under Paul Levesque regime, administration, control has been more hostile than I've remembered in a very long time. And it's all his fault. It's all Paul Levesque's fault. So at the end of the day, complacency is basically giving a pass to people to be evil, rude, and nasty. And this is where we are as a country. And you know what they say, wrestling really is a mirror into what society looks like. So let's see what Pat McAfee said or how he corrected Paul Heyman. Now that I found the whole clip, I want to see how he corrected Paul Heyman. Let's see.
Audience today. I cannot wait till you're back in Indianapolis.
Amen, wise man. Amen.
You should have heard him. You should have heard him last night at the roast. I didn't know what I was signing up for at that roast. Okay. And apparently, neither did Fluffy. God, you think the Miz would get pissed at me? No, Miz laughing his ass off. You think Braun Strowman? Literally, Braun Strowman was up there crying that he's not on WrestleMania, and I tell him straight to his face, he's not on WrestleMania because he sucks. Did he get mad at me? No, he's rolling with the punches. You'd think Tony Hinchcliffe would get mad at me because I totally upstaged him on his own show and proved that it should be the Paul Heyman roast of WrestleMania, not the Tony Hinchcliffe roast of WrestleMania. Think he'd get mad at me? No. Who gets mad at me? A professional roaster. A guy that makes his living telling jokes on panels, a guy that makes a living doing roasts is the one guy that gets mad at me. and wants to fight me on
He
stage.
was sitting directly next to me. I mean, it was quite a scene.
And not only is he the one guy that wanted to fight me on the stage, he's the one guy whose ass I guarantee you I could kick.
He's on a roll, ain't
I
he?
didn't know you were sizing up a potential fight out there.
Well, when Fluffy walks in the room, how do you do anything but size his fat ass up?
All right.
Use Emperor.
Yeah. So, my bad for the commercial. So, the guy was like, first of all, Pat McAfee was like, well, my bad. I'm glad you took care of that. And I hope you don't go nowhere, to the guy that just got told that he was going to get deported. The other guy in response and calls everybody a mark. And this is where Pat McAfee is going to get uncomfortable.
Punk does as much good to my reputation as Shannon Sharp does to ESPN.
Oh, no. Jeez. Oh, boy. All right. See, all right. We don't need that. We don't need that. A lot going on.
Don't ooh me. I'm not the one getting sued.
Whoa, okay. All right. Whoa.
See? Whoa. Now he, whoa. Because Pat getting sued too. Did Paul Heyman forget to mention that? Oh, how convenient. I'm going to leave it right there, though. This is the Paul Levesque era. I said it right for one time. And the Paul Levesque era has ushered in a very hostile environment for wrestling fans and people who just want to enjoy the product. Fuck Paul Levesque. Fuck Pat McAfee. And fuck Paul Heyman. How about that? Get in the comments and tell me what you think. Catch you on the next one.